thank you for joining me, all of you. And whenever you're ready, you can either soften your gaze or close your eyes. We're going to start just by dropping in and paying attention to your breath. So just notice where in your body the breath is falling. Try to take it a little bit deeper. So maybe all the way down to the lowest part of your ribcage, and then out to the sides. Just really letting yourself arrive in this moment. So meditation is such a wonderful practice because we're learning to become more in touch with ourselves and with the present moment. And honestly, that is the real challenge. So even if you've been meditating for a long time, most of our minds usually function in a state where they're either constantly thinking about something that happened in the past, things that might happen in the future, making up stories, or adding commentary to whatever's happening right now. And this is just the way that we're raised and conditioned. How our society operates is on a really amped up level. And it all takes place in the mind. And when we get in that state, we really disconnect from the body. And we disconnect with what's happening right now. And a lot of times we do that because the present moment is uncomfortable. It may not be a moment that you want to be in. And you might be feeling that right now. So I want you to really ask yourself how you're feeling. What the effect of the past few weeks has had on you. And whatever comes up is completely valid. There's no right or wrong way to feel. This is just merely becoming aware and becoming curious. So be honest. Acknowledging whatever tension comes up in the body as you feel it. You might be feeling really afraid or just overwhelmed by responsibilities. Maybe you feel afraid about what's going to happen next, or scared of how you'll make it to tomorrow. You might be feeling really lonely. This virus has had an effect on all of us. So just acknowledge that. Honor what you're going through. And we're going to take a really big inhale in through your nose. Try to hold the breath at the top. And then open your mouth, exhale, sigh it out. I want want you to refocus back on your breath. We're going to try to breathe in as deeply as you possibly can. Really slow, in and out through the nose. When we avoid the present moment, when we disconnect from our bodies still hold the experience. It just stays stuck as tension, a contraction. For a lot of us, that tension is usually stored in our heart space, our chest, around our ribs and our lungs, because we're holding our breath. We're constantly trying to push forward. So now we do the opposite, and we try to release and let go. So from the inside, with your breath, imagine pressing your ribs out. So you're stretching from the inside out. And then every time you exhale, just notice if there's some part of your body that you can relax, just by becoming aware of it. We all store our tension in different areas. Mine is always the neck, the shoulders. Maybe yours is your low back, your hips. Become aware of how you're holding your body in space right now. And if you can, try to surrender. Try to soften. Right now you have nothing to worry about. You have nothing to think about. You just have to stay right here. Try to breathe in a little bit deeper. And try to slow it down. Just allowing yourself to be okay with what is. You don't have to have the answers. And you can't know what's coming next. None of us do, ever. This situation has just made us more aware of that uncertainty, and that can be frightening. But there's also comfort in knowing that that's not your responsibility. To release trying to control what comes. Because life is just like the ocean. So it goes in waves. It'll roll in, and then it'll pull back out. Just repeating like that, like a cycle, over and over. So even though you might be experiencing hardship right now, there's always that ebb and flow. What goes up must come down. So this too will pass. Will pass. All states are temporary. And that's a good thing. This will allow you the chance to expand if you let it. When you think about a pearl, it takes a lot of beating, a lot of scratching and molding over time to become this perfect shiny sphere, starting out as a rough pebble of stone. And you're the same way. Everything that you go through is shining light on ways that you can grow and expand. You can get stronger and learn how to effortlessly ride the wave, so that no matter what happens, you trust yourself and you trust this present moment, knowing that that's all you have to focus on. You just have to stay here and now, taking one breath at a time. Going through one day at a time. Just staying here. And trusting that good is waiting for you on the other side. And trusting yourself that you are strong enough to handle anything that comes your way. Even when you don't feel like it. Even when you feel depleted, completely drained. I promise you that there, deep down inside of you, at the core of you, is still that knowing that you are going to be okay and that you can do this. And that's your intuition. That's your true self. All of the other thoughts that come up in our mind don't actually belong to us. Most of the time, these thoughts were given to us by our parents, by our teachers, our experiences through the world. And we take that one experience or that one person and we make that truth. But your thoughts are completely optional. And you're completely in charge. I like to think of your true self as the sky. And all of these thoughts are just clouds passing through. And some days like today, it may feel like a storm in your mind, where it's just covered in clouds, covered in thoughts of anxiety, fears, and worries. But you know how when you're flying, and you're on the plane, you always pass through the layers of clouds. And once you break through, always, you see the larger sky, the sun shining bright, and the clouds are just murking the view below. So you can let those clouds part. You can choose to let them go. Choose to release the thoughts that don't serve you. as you meditate, just notice your mind is going to be doing its thing, jumping from one thought to the next. So now we're going to take just a few minutes where I'm going to stay quiet. And I want you to focus on just staying in this present moment. Trying to keep your mind's sky clear. So just notice every time a thought comes up. And then once you catch yourself going down that train of thought, stop yourself. Give love to yourself. And let the thought go. Return your attention back to your breath. Our breath is always a direct line right back to the present moment. Because our breath and our heartbeat both exist right here. So notice your breath. Try to relax your body. And we'll just be here for a few minutes. Let your mind wander. But when you catch it, bring your attention back. Try to return your attention back to your breath. Try to notice the patterns of your own thoughts. Do they immediately want to jump back into feelings of fear or worrying? Or maybe you're thinking about what's coming next. Or you might even be thinking, oh, I can't concentrate, I can't sit still. Just become lovingly aware. What you're doing right now is a practice that you can carry with you the entire day. We're becoming aware of our mind and noticing the separation between the higher you and all of the thoughts. Noticing that you can separate the two. so that you can choose the thoughts that make you feel good. Because we all know that when you feel worried, fearful, stressed, all of that completely drains your energy. It makes our bodies contract inwards in a self-protective mechanism. And then that tension tends to build to injuries. This also lowers our immune systems, which we certainly don't want right now. But it works the other way too. When we choose to focus on thoughts that make us feel good, everything increases and improves. Our bodies are always listening and responding to our thoughts. They work together, they're the same. And the greatest release of all is having no thoughts, even if just for a minute. To free yourself from having to think. Just let yourself exist in this moment. And just accepting what is. I want you to know that you have inside of you this pillar of peace. You are the eye of the hurricane. So everything in life can happen around you. And you may experience changes and loss. But as long as you return back to your breath and freeing yourself from the responsibility of having to figure it all out, you'll find that anything can happen and you're going to be okay. Through the ups and the downs, all you have to be is here, now. You will get through this time. And all you have to do is remember to tune inwards to the real truth inside of you that knows that. We'll take our last few deep breaths. Maybe start to add some movement back into your body. You can wiggle your fingers and your toes. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes back up. And I want us to transition gently back into the rest of your day. So you can really meditate and access this feeling anytime. And I want you to try to carry it with you through the rest of your day. Anytime you feel like your mind is starting to spiral out of control, anytime you get distracted by an alert on your phone, something someone says, your work, and all of those old feelings start to come up, the depletion, the ones that make you tighten, I just want you to check back into your body. Try to become aware of that and that process, and breathe into it. Just stay here. Because as long as you're staying in the here and now, nothing can harm you. There's nothing to fear and nothing to worry about. So thank you all so much for joining me. It's such a pleasure to have you. I'm really grateful. Thank you. Namaste.